Good day, everyone. Our topic is all about the exploratory research. So, first, we know what is exploratory research. Exploratory research is a methodology approach that investigates research questions that have not previously been studied deep. So, exploratory research is often qualitative and primary in nature. However, a study with a large sample conducted in an exploratory manner can be quantitative as well. So, exploratory research is defined as a research used to investigate a problem which is not clearly defined. It is conducted to have a better understanding of the existing research problem, but will not provide conclusive results. So, the exploratory research had two types. The first is the primary research methods. Primary research method is of information gathered directly from the subject. It can be through a group of people or even individual. Such a research can be carried out directly by researchers himself or can employ a third party to conduct it on their behalf. Primary research is especially carried out to explore a certain problem which requires an in-depth study. So, in the primary research, we have types of primary research. The first one is a survey polls. Are used to gather information from a predefined group of respondents. It is one of the most important quantitative methods. Various types of surveys or polls can be used to explore options, trends, etc. With the advancement in technology, surveys can now be sent online and can be very easy to access. So here are the example of survey polls. A survey is sent to a given set of audience to understand their options about the size of mobile phones when they purchase one. Based on such information, organization can dig deeper into the topic and make business-related decisions. So the second one is interview. While you may get a lot of information from public sources, but sometimes an in-person interview can give in-depth information on the subject being studied. Such as research is a qualitative research method. An interview with a subject matter expert can give you meaningful insights that a generalized public source won't be able to provide. So here's are the example of the interviews. An interview with an employee can give you more insights to find out the degree of job satisfaction, or an interview with a subject matter expert of quantum theory can give you an in-depth information on the topic. So the next one is a focus group. Focus group is yet another widely used method in exploratory research. In such a method, a group of people is chosen and are allowed to express their insights on the topic that is being studied. Although it is important to make sure that while choosing the individuals in a focus group they should have a common background and have comparable experience. So here's the example of the focus group. A focus group helps a researcher identify the opinions of consumers if they were to buy a phone, such as a research can help the researcher understand what the consumer value while buying a phone. It may be screen size, brand value, or even the dimensions, based on which the organization can understand what are consumer buying attitude and consumer options, etc. And the last one is the observation. Observation research can be qualitative observation or quantitative observation. Such a research is done to observe a person and draw the finding from their reaction to certain parameters. In such a research, there is no direct interaction with the subject. So here's the example. An FMCG company wants to know how its consumer react to the new shop of their product. The researcher observes the customer first reactions and collects the data, which is then used to draw inference from the collective information. And the second method is the secondary research methods. So, secondary research method is gathering information from previously published primary research. In such a research, you gather information from sources like case studies, magazines, newspapers, books, and etc. So, the secondary research, we have a types. So, we have a types of secondary research. The first one is the online research. In today's world, this is one of the fastest way to gather information on any topic. A lot of data is readily available on the internet and the researcher can download it whenever he needs it. So here's the example of the online research. A researcher needs to find out what is the percentage of the people that refer a specific brand phone. The researcher just enters the information he needs in a search engine and gets multiple links with related information and statistics. Okay, and the next one is the literature research. Literature research is one of the most expensive method used for discovering a hypothesis. There is tremendous amount of information available in libraries, online sources, or even commercial databases. So, however, a few things have to be kept in mind while researching from this source. Government agencies have authentic information but sometimes may come with a nominal cost. Also, researchers from educational institutions in the generally overlook, but in fact, educational institutions carry out more number of researchers than any other entries. So, here's the example of the literature research. A company has low sales. It can be easily explored from available statistics and market literature. If the problems is market-related or organization-related, or if the topic being studied is regarding financial situation of the country, then research data can be accessed through government document or commercial sources. And the last one is the case study. Okay. Case study research can help a researcher with finding more information through carefully analyzing existing cases which have gone through a similar problem. Such analyses are very important and critical, especially in today's business world. Carefully, the research just needs to make sure he analyzes this carefully in regards to all variables present in the previous case against his own case. So, it's very commonly used by business organization or social science sector or even in the health sector. Okay, and here's the example of the literature and the case study research. A particular orthopedic surgeon has the highest success rate for performing knee surgeries. A lot of other hospitals our doctors have taken up this case to understand and benchmark the method in which this surgeon does not procedure to increase their success rate.
So, how to do the exploratory research? Step Step 1. Identify your problem. The first step in conducting exploratory research is identifying what the problem is and whether this type of research is right avenue for to pursue. Remember that exploratory research is most advantageous when you are investigating a previously unexplored problem. So the example of this step is, you have to notice that people who speak with a non-native accent are often as intelligible as people who speak with a native accent. In addition to difficulty of reducing a non-active accent, it is also often undesirable to do so, since the accent can be part of the learner's identity. However, all current teaching methods focus on reducing the accent instead of improving intelligibility. You think may not be the most efficient approach to helping people to learn English as a second language. So that is the step 1, identify your problem. So it means you have to do the identify the first before anything else. So the step 2 is hypothesize a solution. Then it's to come up with a solution to problem you are investigating. Formulate a hypothetical statement to guide your research. Example of hypothetical solution. You expect that learners of English as a good language would benefit more from an increased focus on improving intelligibility rather than reducing a non-active accent. You think if you would be the best educational methods for all our proficiency reflect to this. Na siyang step 2, hypothesize a solution. Step 3, design your methodology. Next, conceptualize your data collection and data analysis methods and write them up with a research design. Example methodology. You decided to informally interview other teachers of English as a second language and ask them questions related to training oral proficiency. You make sure that your questions are related to the relationship between strength of non-active accent and the degree of intelligibility. So, if imong step 1 is about like this accent, so it means the step 2, 3, that is continue, and the step 3 is related from the or topic that you want to research. Step 3, collect and analyze data. You proceed with the collecting and analyzing your data so can determine whether your preliminary results are aligned with your hypothesis. In most types of research, you should formulate your hypothesis as a priori and refrain from changing them due to the increased risk of type I errors and data integrity issues. However, in exploratory research, you are allowed to change your hypothesis based on your findings. Since you are exploring a previously unexplained phenomenon that could have many explanations. Example, preliminary results. After conducting and analyzing the interviews, you determine that other teachers agree with your hypothesis. They also suspect that non-active accent reduction does not contribute to the speaker's intelligibility. So lastly, the step 5, avenues for future research. Decide if you would like to continue studying your topic. If so, it is likely that you will need to change to another type of research, as exploratory research is often qualitative in nature. You may need to conduct quantitative research with a larger sample size to achieve more generalizable results. Example, future research ideas. Your preliminary results were in line with your expectations, but you need to officially test your hypothesis. By conducting a more extensive study, you list suggestions for future research for further investigate that relationship. You suggest an experiment during which participants listen to speech samples of speakers with non-active accent in varying degree. Participation are asked to fill in the missing word and transcript the way. You can investigate whether people with a stronger non-active accent are indeed as intelligible as speakers with a native accent. So, that all is the step of how to do the exploratory research. So, from step 1, you have to think that research is until the step 5 to, to achieve your goal about the research. That is called the exploratory research step 1 until 5.
There are two types of exploratory research, advantage or disadvantage. Advantage. The research has a lot of flexibility and can adapt to change as the research processes. It usually low cost. It's help lay to foundation of a research which can lead for further research. Let's read. It is able to research, understand at an early stage of the topic is worth investigating the time and resources of if it is worth pursuing. It can assist other research to find out possible causes from the problem which can be further studied and details to find out which of them is the most likely cause from the problem. Example of advantage.
Play.
Here is the example of advantage. General new insight. Exploratory research allow research to investigate a topic or problem which is open-minded without personalization or option. Example, kumpanya conduct exploratory research on consumer behavior might uncover unexpected patterns or motivation that could inform new marketing storage of product development. Another example, hypothesis generation. Exploratory research is often helps in generating hypotheses of research, question that can be tested of future studies by exploring the topic broadly and gathering primarily preliminary information. Research can develop informed hypotheses can guide more rigorous investigation. Example, a psychological conduct exploratory research on the relationship between self patterns and academic performance might observe essential patterns that suggest a potential correlation leading to the informational of the hypothesis to be tested in a controlled study. Let's proceed the disadvantage of exploratory research. Even ano siya?
Tot.
Even thought, sige, even thought is can point you in the right direction toward what is the answer. It is usually inconclusive. The main disadvantage of exploratory research is the is that they prove qualitative data. Interpretation of such as information can be judgmental and based. Most of the times, exploratory research involves a smaller sample. Hence, the result cannot be accurately interpreted for a generalized population. Many of times, if the data is being collected through secondary research, then there is change of the data being old and is not updated. Example. Examples of, for example, disadvantage, limited generalizability. Exploratory research is typically conduct one of small scale and often focus of specific individual, group, or context. For example, research conducts exploratory research on a small group of students for a specific university to understand their study habits. When the finding provide valuable insight into this particular group, they may not apply to students from other universities or culture background.